What's up, my ninjas? HeyImMilania today, and welcome to a different type of video that I honestly never expect to make. Now, I was planning on doing something like this for a subscriber special. Actually, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I was planning on doing a video where I would showcase pretty much a behind the scenes on how I edit and make my videos. But obviously, I just didn't have the time and energy to do it. Like, it's just cause, man, being a solo editor is really tough. However, for this one, I'm going to be doing a behind the scenes on me editing for my good friend HeyImMilania. Now, she is mainly a Twitch streamer, but recently, since she's been getting into YouTube content, I've been helping her edit her videos and pretty much like stay on a schedule and upload every once in a while. You guys have probably seen these clips of her on YouTube Shorts and TikTok.
I lose like 5 times in a row, and then somebody draws 2, and somebody dodges.
And for this video, I really want to show you guys the behind the scenes because this one is going to be a little bit challenging because I'm actually going to be editing 2 episodes. We are currently going to be editing the 2 episodes, episodes 5 and 6 of the Minecraft All the Mods 10 series. And you know, since I've been lacking quite some time, you know, on my schedule and whatnot, like I think the last video I uploaded was probably like months ago, probably not even months ago, I'm probably over exaggerating. I decided I'm going to show you guys the behind the scenes on how I pretty much do everything because like I said, as a solo editor, there's only so much I can do, there's only so much time that I have. So I really do hope as well that you guys at least learn something. Now, once we get into the actual editing process, I'm not gonna obviously explain every single detail. We're gonna be here for years if we do that. So I'm only gonna show you guys certain segments on how I get like really consistent with the editing and whatnot. So that way I don't end up getting stuck on one certain editing part because normally when I edit, I mainly tend to get stuck on certain segments that I end up getting lost and confused on. Like I literally get stuck on that part for like literally like 4 hours and I end up wasting so much time that I'm not even halfway done with the actual video. So it is mostly going to be a lot of fast forwarding, but I do hope you guys at least like know at least learn some tips and tricks on like, you know, when it comes to editing like streams and VODs and whatnot, because editing streams is one thing, and, you know, editing videos is another thing, because editing streams is a lot more complicated because it's literally like hours of gameplay. Also, I do want to give a big shout out to Doggy. He's actually the reason why I wanted to do this, because ever since I saw him do his video for editing for Nepesta, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to do a behind the scenes video because like I said, this video is going to take some time, so I thought I'd give you guys some sneak peeks, you know, and of course give you guys some tips and tricks and whatnot. So I want to give a massive shout out to Doggy, man. Big shout out to you, man. And also good luck on Grief, man. You're gonna verify it very soon. So like I said, I really do hope you guys learn some tips and tricks when it comes to editing. It really just depends on like the editing software, which I'm gonna get into later on. But yeah, man, we're gonna go on ahead and get straight to business, and let's get straight to work. Okay, so first things first is gathering the footage for the video. So a lot of people, they tend to use like, you know, video downloaders and stuff like that, which is what I obviously use. I use a software called Twitch Link. At first I used to use a 4K video downloader, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with, but from my experience, 4K video downloader is something I don't really recommend. Like every time I try to download videos, the file would end up getting corrupted, it would download really slow, or the video quality will just end up looking like straight dog shit. But what I really like about this software is that right here, you click this little search bar right here, but mainly I would get like the Twitch stream link and I would copy it right here and I would click OK, and as you can see, which I already did right here, which it saves the VODs right here, and all you have to do is just click download. So as you can see, this first one is around an hour and the second one is approximately basically around 3 hours. And what's really funny is that it actually downloads 10 times quicker, you know, depending on what you guys use. So I pretty much just download these, which I already did, so you guys don't have to wait for that process. So I pretty much just download it and I just jump straight to the editing software, and yeah, let's go on ahead and get straight to that. Okay, so this is my editing software. I mainly use Sony Vegas Pro 16, and this software has a lot of its pros and cons. Now in terms of like, you know, if you want to do certain like camera angles or certain like crops, like that's what I really like about it, especially like the visual effects, which I'm gonna show you guys later on. Like, it has really good visual effects, it has like filter packages. It's really cool. The biggest problem that I have with Sony Vegas is that every time I try to edit, right, especially when I'm editing, this always happens when I'm editing clips, like vertical clips. Every once in a while, whenever I'm exporting the video, or even when I'm just like casually moving around the timeline, like the whole entire software will just randomly crash every once in a while, which I do believe is a common thing when it comes to Sony Vegas. But I mean, it's really annoying, but this software does get the job done, and I always get very satisfied in the end. So I mean, hey, you just gotta deal with it half the time. Alright, so let's get started with constructing the intro. So what I mainly use is, I obviously use this pre-edited intro that I made beforehand, and as you can see along, we have all these songs that we have right here. All this is non-copyrighted, so that way you guys can feel somewhat entertained, because it's gonna be a lot of commentary and it's gonna be a lot of fast forwarding for the first episode, because we're gonna be editing episode 5 first. Also, another thing I did forget to mention, I normally don't do this, which is actually really crazy. For this whole entire thing, I actually wrote down some notes. notes. For this whole entire thing, I actually wrote down some notes. So Milania, big shout out to you because I really want to get organized with this. So I'll show you a screenshot for the notes that I have right here. So first things first, let's get the intro out the way. So we just slide this on out the way right here, drag the intro, and also right here, one thing I did forget to do right here. So you click right here, and this little play button symbol right here starts a preview, and you'll see it right here on the playback screen. So we click it, and you'll be able to watch it. That's just peak, bro. That's just straight peak. Now we got the intro in place. Now I have to cut straight to the verbal intro where she basically is saying hello to everyone, which I will do real quick. As you can see, she's really just talking most of the time. She doesn't like get straight to the intro when she starts her streams. So I think, oh yeah, right here. So this should be the verbal intro right here.
Hey, I'm Milania, and welcome back to my channel.
All right, so this is it right here. So we have to cut it right about here. So let's go on ahead and cut that. And then we delete this part and we drag this on over here, which is right in front of the intro. So so that way, once we play this back, so we got the intro, and now we got the verbal intro.
Hey, I'm Milania, and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay, that's really good. And normally throughout the video, what I like to do is, this is just my method of doing things. And normally what I like to do, I actually picked this up by 8-Bit Ryan, by the way, so big shout out to you. The easiest way to really like manage yourself in terms of editing, so that way you don't get lost, especially when you're editing it all into one, you're using all of your energy into literally the whole entire thing. The best way to really like stay organized and do things, at least in my opinion, especially like to manage time, is to go through the entire video 2 times. Now what I mean by that is the first time you go through the entire video, what I like to do is I like to cut out all the boring bits and pieces, and I leave all the interesting like funny moments and whatnot. And of course I'm going to leave in some building bits for some cinematics and whatnot, but mainly I just watch the entire stream. I just go through the whole entire thing and I cut out all the boring bits and pieces, and then the second time I go all the way back and I add in all the sound effects and all the music and whatnot, so that way it makes it easier, so that way you don't have to worry about having to do all the cutting and do all the editing all in one bit. So that way it's a lot more easier to go back and forth, so that way you'll like at least know what you're doing, if you guys know what I mean. Obviously, like I said, I'm not going to be getting way too deep into detail, so it's going to be a lot of fast forwarding, but I am going to show you guys, you know, just my tips on how I do things a lot more quicker. I don't know how other editors do it, this is just how I do things. The quickest way to do like these quick little splits right here, because like for most editing softwares, especially when it comes to like Adobe Premiere Pro, which is something I really don't like using, like you have to do like so many steps just to do there's so many steps you have to do just to make one little quick edit, which is really annoying. Not to mention like rendering is also a pain. So the quickest way to do these quick little edits right here, so the quickest way to do these little splits right here is you click up here, you click over to options up here, and when you go to options you go all the way down to customize keyboard, and it basically shows you all the hotkeys on, you know, certain controls, like basically like shortcuts, and mine is set to the letter S. So we go all the way down and find the letter S, which is split right here. So you go all the way down here, so keep this in mind, you go to options, you go over to customize keyboard, and you see it right here. You can also save it as a layout, but I just have mine saved as a default. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing for this first half is I'm going to be going over the entire footage, and I'm pretty much just going to be editing out all of the boring bits and pieces, and then the second time I'm going to be going back and adding in all the visual effects, the sound effects, and the music and whatnot. It is currently 3:58 right now, and I am challenging myself to see if I can at least get most of this done before 9 p.m. So let's go on ahead and get straight to business. Alright, so a bit of an update. We started this at around, I think, 3 p.m. It was 3 something. No, I think it was 2 p.m. I can't remember exactly the time, but if I were to guess, so far we are 2 hours in and we are not even nearly halfway. Like, look at this, dude. As you can see, we have all these cuts here. However, these parts right here, which is specifically the building bits, this is where I pretty much have to speed it up. Now, in order to change the speed of the video, what you do is you click right here, click on the bottom right here, which is the normal edit tool, which allows you to, you know, crop and like move the files and whatnot, you know, depending on how long you want it to be. Click this right here, click this, and it shows you these tools, which you got the shuffle tool, the slip tool, the slide tool, time stretch and compress tool, and split trim tool. Now mainly the only two tools I mainly use are the normal edit tool and the time stretch tool, which you click this right here, time stretch tool. Now it really doesn't matter how long the clip is, because once you use the time stretch tool, as you can see right here, this little squiggly line right here, which lets you know that the time stretch is available. When you drag it, you can see that, well, you can't really tell that. Okay, here's the thing. You can't really tell that the clip is actually its original length. It's just that when you use the time stretch tool, it actually like manages how fast it is. So if you make it shorter like this, you'll make it go faster like this. So that makes it go fast. But when you stretch it out, it goes slower.
Yeah.
Just like that. And that's what I really like about this. Normally in other editing softwares, like you really have to do so much just to change the speed. But for this, it's really just a simple tool that you can use that you can literally just like stretch it out to make it more slower and make it smaller to make it more faster, which I really enjoy. But so far we are getting a lot more closer to the end, so we just got to keep on doing our thing until we can get on over there, and then we got to go all the way back. However, once we get all the boring bits out, so I got to continue all the way from 10 minutes all the way up to 55 minutes. Alright you guys, it is now 6:05 right now. It's literally starting to get, well, I mean, it's not really getting dark outside. I mean, it's not really like as much sun as it was before. But as you guys can see, we pretty much got all of the boring bits out. We have the intro constructed. I can instruct the outro, but I think it's best if we get all like the images, the sound effects, and the music and everything else. So that's gonna be the second step. It was around 2 hours long because I had to add the other stream, which is basically taking place in the next episode, which leads up to the big moment, which you guys probably know about. And now we have pretty much everything blueprinted and ready to go. So all we need to do now is we need to be adding all the finishing touches, which we gotta add the music, the sound effects, and the memes and everything else. And you can also do the same thing here where you can also listen to the music, since it's obviously an MP3 file. How you can watch videos by clicking this little play button right here. We can also listen to audio if you click on it and press the play button here as well. So normally I add this one in the beginning to, you know, have like a little bit of a catchy tone in the beginning. And to make sure that the music is not too loud or anything like that, we got this little volume slider right here on the left right here. Now normally when it comes to commentary, I normally keep it at the same audio level. But to make things even louder, I didn't even notice this as well. If you right click on the audio, right click on it, and then you go to switches, and then you click normalize, which makes it slightly louder, which I guess like it kind of normalizes the audio if it's like, I don't know, low or something. I still know what that does. I don't really know what that means, but what I do know is that it makes the audio a lot more louder. But obviously we don't want the music to overlap the commentary so you guys can hear what HeyImMilania is saying. What we want to do is we're going to go over here to the volume slider and move it a little lower to -5.2 decibels. Alright, let's just give it a listen. Okay, so I played it back and it's obviously way too loud, so the best way for us to do it, just to really be sure that the music's not overlapping the commentary, we got this little slider right here, which is always in the middle of every single audio file. You see this right here, which is the gain. What you want to do is you want to drag that, you want to hold it, slide it all the way down, which makes it a lot more quieter. So now when we play it back, it should be a lot more quiet.
Hey, I'm HeyImMilania, and welcome back to my
Okay, so it's slightly quieter, but I mean, you don't want to make it too loud. Like, you want to make it noticeable, but you don't want to make it too loud. So let's go on ahead and do that. All right, perfect. That's really good. That is perfect. Keep in mind, this little audio channel right here, this not only controls this specific audio's level, whatever is in this audio track, this whole entire line right here, it basically monitors the entire volume for this entire set of audio. Whatever audio is in this channel is going to be at the exact same level. So pretty much like I said, I normally like to add sound effects and of course background music everywhere in almost every single scene. But also another thing that I also tend to always add is transitions. So for transitions, what I always like to do is I like to mainly add transitions right here. Like as soon as HeyImMilania says like, oh, let's get right into the video, I like to add a little swipe. So in order to do that, what I want to do is you want to drag it a little bit over here, and you see this little line right here. Basically, if there's no transition thing, which we have we have this over here, we have the transitions tab, which obviously you can add so many other transitions, but normally if you don't add a transition into this part right here, it mainly just acts as a fade.
There we go.
So as you guys can see, normally if you don't add a transition right there, and if you have it overlapping in another video file, it just acts as a fade, which is way too basic in my opinion. So we're going to be adding a swipe effect. Now what I want to do is I want to drag all the files here. So I've selected all the files here on the second half of the video, so that way they all level up with the transition, because if I just do that, it's going to be out of sync and it's going to mess the entire video up. So I want to select all these and drag them right there, and I don't want the transition to be too long. I want it to be like a quick swipe. So as soon as she says let's get into it, we're gonna add a quick swipe into it. So you wanna click down here where all the tools are, right? And you wanna click this right here, which is the selection edit tool. So you wanna click that and drag it all the way across the timeline. So that way you'll be able to select all of them. And if you don't select all the files that you wanted to, what you have to do is hold shift and continue to drag it, and you should be able to have this one selected. There we go. So now you can control all these files all over here, which is really, really handy. So now I wanna drag it on over, which should be around maybe 4 seconds. So something short and something quick. So let's go ahead and try that. To apply the transition, what we wanna do is search up swipe. I believe it's that. Is it the swipe effect? Switch pan, that's what the effect is. So you wanna drag that all the way over here and drag it right in between right there. So I want to drag it right there. And also I like to cut the music like before she says let's get right into the video, because you don't want the music to be too long. So I cut it right about here where she says let's get straight into the video. So I want to cut this, the rest of it. So now when we go back and watch the intro, which is around here, let's go ahead and save it because I want my thing to crash again.
Let's get into it. There we
That's good. That's really, really good actually. And then as soon as it does the quick swipe effect, I add in a whoosh effect. And then as soon as it does the swipe effect, I like to add a whoosh sound effect. So let's go on ahead and do that. I have my sound effect right here. And it's basically multiple whoosh sound effects all into one. So I mainly like to use the first one. So what I want to do is I want to mainly crop it right about here where the swish is about to happen. Cut it right there and cut all the extra excess off. Oh, and also when you zoom in right here, we got these little fade lines. Let's go on ahead and get rid of that because it might mess up with the audio. And then when we go back and play it, we should be able to have a clean whoosh transition.
Let's get into it. There.
That's good. That's really, really good. Perfect. And then from this point on, which is the second step, is where I add all the sound effects, the background music, the memes, the green screen effects, all that stuff. So I'm gonna go on ahead and go through my folders and see what I can find. And you can see in these 3 folders, which are my memes, my sound effects, and my background music, I have a whole library of a whole bunch of music and a whole bunch of sounds that I use. So pretty much I just go through these 3 folders and I find the best and funniest memes, that, can make certain jokes pretty funny. So I just go through these and yeah, I just do my thing.
2,000 years later.
Alright you guys, it is now currently 11:14 p.m. Normally I was planning on getting this video done before midnight, but I do have a lot of work done. I'm pretty much halfway through. I'm still in the second step. I'm still in the middle of adding all the sound effects and all the music and whatnot. But overall though, I've been sitting down for literally almost 5 or something hours. I don't even remember what time I even started this on. And your boy is starting to get a little bit of a headache and I didn't eat all day. So what I decided to do was DoorDash me some good old Mickey D's. Alright, this is what I normally get, by the way. You guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys normally get from McDonald's? So I got myself, I don't know why they put the sauces in the thing. Got myself a large fry, quarter pounder with bacon, and got myself 10 chicken nuggets, which I don't know what is this design though. Okay, this low-key goes kinda hard. If you guys know what this means, please let me know, because I have absolutely no idea how to read Korean. Now, every time I DoorDash McDonald's, there's always one little flaw. Either fries are barely hot, the chicken nuggets are barely crispy, and sometimes they'll put pickles on my burger, which I really hate. But let me go on ahead and try out these fries though. McDonald's has the best fries. I don't care what y'all say. Yeah, I'm leaving a bad review. Okay.
Turn around and die. Turn
turn around and die. Alright, you guys, so I have not slept within the past hours. It is currently 3:31 a.m. and at first I thought I was gonna be able to do both of the episodes today. Nope. But no, I can't. That's just way too much time. So therefore, I was only able to show you guys the behind the scenes of this one episode, which is episode 5. I just took a shower not too long ago, so I feel a lot more energized now that I'm, you know, fresh and clean. And so far, this is everything that I've gotten so far. Keep in mind, at first, this whole entire timeline was around 2 hours worth of footage, but then I managed to cut this down to 15 minutes, which is actually really good. So as you guys can see, I got literally all of the music, the sound effects, everything loaded up. And of course, like I said, there is a bit of a twist at the end. So you guys will see once this video is out. So I'm not going to show you guys too much, but I will show you guys some of the new things that I usually don't really add in Milania's videos, but I will be showing you things that I normally do here and there. So obviously we're over here at the intro, and obviously the part where we had the transition where we did the quick swipe. What I did forget to mention is that mainly when I do this, so once we get to the switch part, as soon as she goes, let's get into the video, I add a little quick zoom in. It's basically right here. So once we got the verbal intro out the way and she says let's get into it, we got this part.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy the stream. Let's get into it.
So we got the quick little zoom in. In order to do quick little zooms like that is you click right here where you see the little video file, click this right here, which is like a little box that says event, pan, and crop, which is what I really love about this software, even though it crashes a lot, because I did forget to mention in the beginning that I did at first used to use Cyberlink Power Director. Like, it's a really easy software, you know, especially for beginners out there, but there's only so much that you could do with it, you know what I mean? So it's not really much that you could really do, and eventually I had to transition from that, unfortunately. So we have the crop session right here, which is where you can see is right here, so which is the very beginning. We have these little things called keyframes, which is right here. We got these keyframes where you can create a keyframe and you can remove keyframes. It's kind of like animating in a way because, you know, you're doing it frame by frame by frame. It depends on like how you want your camera to move or how you want the angles to like shift from one another. So obviously we got this movement right here, and just to add like a quick little zoom in, if I want to add like another like quick zoom, all I have to do is just casually move it and make sure this little slider is away from the current position. Do any movement you want. So like I said, if you want to do like a quick little zoom, just do something like that, and you can see down there a new keyframe is constructed. So then once we play it back, we should have a quick zoom in effect.
Let's get into it. There.
Oh, actually, that's really good. You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna keep it in there. That was actually supposed to be an example, but that actually fits really well. I actually like that.
Let's get into it.
That's really good. But overall, though, we've gotten the 2 main steps out of the way, and now, of course, we got the third and final test, which is, of course, importing the video or exporting the video. So you go on the top left up here, which says render as, and you can see right here we got all these templates that I mainly use. These are the main 4 that I mainly use whenever I'm editing. Now, in this case, since it's a full-on let's play, we're going to go on ahead and render it as 1080p by 60 FPS. I'm going to export it in videos right here, and yeah, we're just going ahead. I'm just gonna go on ahead and relax after sitting down for so many hours, and yeah, after that, it should be done later on today. By the time it even starts becoming daytime, I mean, it's already dark outside and it's 3 a.m. So by the time this finishes, I'm going to walk through the uploading process in the morning. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Actually, you know what? Let's do this in a little cool transition way. So let's go like this: 3, 2, 1. Alright, you guys, it is now the next day. We started editing the 5th episode yesterday, which was Friday. Now Saturday, it is March 4th, and it is currently 4:42 p.m. I just woke up like 5 minutes ago, so I'm feeling a little bit more energized now, so I should be able to get the last and final steps done. And the video actually ended up being done really fast exporting. I figured since the video was pretty long and it involved a lot of cuts and whatnot, it was probably going to take a little bit longer. Surprisingly, it actually took a lot more shorter than I expected. So now that the video's done, we're going to go on ahead and work on the thumbnail. Now, I just want to preface this, I am not the best at making thumbnails. Like, if you guys have seen my previous videos, like my previous video that I made on my channel, my thumbnails are really not the best. Most of them are really basic. You know, most people who are really good at making thumbnails, they use something like, you know, Photoshop and stuff like that. I'm not really the best with Photoshop. I know like basic stuff and whatnot, so I do want to get into Photoshop and whatnot. But how I actually make my thumbnails is I actually use my editing software. I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. Here I got this screenshot from the 5th episode. I got this screenshot here of the house, which looks really cool. Pretty much I already have it saved as a template known as All the Mods 10 Thumbnails, which basically has the All the Mods 10 logo right here, which I drag right over here. I'm gonna put this the top left up here, make sure it's not too big and make sure it's not covering the building. Okay, that seems good. Now I do this with every single image that I add, like in the background. I always add a shadow layer because it makes it look, I don't know, like it looks fine now, but every time I add like a shadow layer, it makes it look more, I guess you could say, it makes it look more crispier in my opinion. Look, I'll show you guys what I mean. So you go to video effects and you go up here to the search bar, which you type in layer, and you click this one, which is is layer dimensionality. And I always choose this right here, drop shadow with light above. Drag it onto the image, and you can see it gives it like a really clean shadow look, which is really clean, which I add in every single, like I add this in every single one of my thumbnails. Got that one. So then I add Melania and Steven, so I like to add them both here. I got these both over here, so I don't have to re-add them. So all I have to do is just copy and paste them and paste them right over here. Wait, hold on, I gotta drag them up a little bit. Bam, just like that. Really basic thumbnail. All right, and the thumbnail is now done, and for me to save it, all I have to do is click on this little save icon on top of the playback screen, which actually takes a screenshot of it. So we're gonna save it into downloads, and boom, there we go. We got the thumbnail now. So this is how we get the videos up. Some other people, they like to send the others footage. We tried doing that, but it was just really slow, and every time we would try to send it through like Google Drive, the video file would just end up looking so bad, or the file would just end up being so corrupted that it literally won't even work. What we decided to do was that the best way for me to actually get the videos up, for Melania to actually give me access to the channel, so that way I can upload the video through hand, so that way it'll be in full quality and ready to go once we upload it. We are now in the middle of the uploading process, so let me go on ahead and get started with this. And before you know it, the video is now complete. All we gotta do is wait for the video to be uploaded, but overall, that's it. Alright, you guys, that's pretty much my whole editing routine. Pretty much like my day-to-day routine when it comes to editing videos. Most of the time I usually procrastinate, but since this one I really do want to try to get done, because you know I gotta get this video out for you guys as well. It's only episode 5 that I've edited. I have another episode I have to edit, which I at least want to try to get done maybe later today. It does depend though if my power goes out or not, because as you can see, it's not really too sunny outside as it was yesterday, because it is currently raining outside. Let me look outside. Yeah, literally, it's on the verge of raining and it is so cloudy outside. But I do believe I've covered everything. I hope you guys, like I said in the beginning, I really hope you guys learned something from this. You know, hope you guys learned some tips and tricks. Obviously I didn't get too deep into detail with every single thing that I did. You know, I mean, eventually, you know, you start to learn new things, you learn new tricks as you're editing. Like the more you do it, the more you'll start to really understand. Once again, I do want to give a big shout out to 8-Bit, Ryan, and Doggy. Thank you guys so much for inspiring me to do this video. I really love you guys, and I really love you guys' videos. And hopefully this video helped you guys understand why I've been lacking with videos and whatnot, because this is what I'm doing now. If you guys want to see the full finished video, check it out in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, then please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe today to join my Ninja Clan, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!
And